Hello everyone and welcome to the first CCN podcast. Please welcome our first guest, DJTruthsayer, a well-known figurehead in the Elite Dangerous lore and streaming community, also one of the founders of the Imperial Inquisition. To be interviewed by our very own CCN custodian Souvarine. The interview was recorded right before our 1000th colonist celebration, the Running Man Grand Prix, a Viper Canyon race near Colonia. For your convenience, we left the timestamp of the different subjects down in the description. Please enjoy. Maximilian Reach out.
Hello, this is another CCN broadcast. I'm here at the Running Man Grand Prix, and I'm joined by DJTruthsayer this evening, as well as Max Reach, Gerbils, and Ray Lorel. Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming, and great to see you here, Truthsayer.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm just pinging out on my Discords to let everyone know. But yeah, proper pleasure to be here. How is everyone?
Really good, thanks. Really, really good. There's the natural, the normal instancing shenanigans going on, but apart from that, everything looks good. Looks pretty good.
Instancing is the bane of every elite group's existence. Like, it really is. This game is so wonderful in so many ways, and the one thing that every group will agree on, no matter whether you're a PvP group, a PvE group, whatever, every group will agree, we just want better instancing.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We keep saying.
Oh, go. Sorry.
We keep saying that we really want season 3 to just be called instancing.
I could cope with that. Although I've long predicted that season 3 will be called Legs.
Yeah. Leggy space cadets.
Yeah. Although I think that you guys are going to become a lot more important in season 3.
Ah, that's a leading comment. Let's dwell on that for a bit. Why do you think that?
Because over a year ago, I made a series of predictions on my stream, and basically I stated that before the introduction of a certain insectoid menace, they would first introduce a second bubble. Once they'd introduced a second bubble, they would then go about introducing passenger missions to allow for refugee lifts, and they would also introduce ship-launched fighters in order for the Thargoids to actually work, because the whole battle doctrine of the Thargoids revolves around ship-launched fighters. Alongside that, there are a few other little things that have also come to pass. But basically, my prediction has been for over a year now that at the launch of season 3, we're losing the bubble.
Interesting. Why the ship launch fighters thing? Why is that essential to the Thargoid conflict?
Right, because the Thargoids themselves use ship launch fighters.
How do you know that?
So, pardon? How do I know that?
I'm just interested, yeah, because I don't think I've heard that.
Previous games, and also I obsess over lore. I've read all of the books. I've gone through documents from the old games, and one of my partners in crime with lore is the Thargoid, who's in chat at the moment. And as he's just rightly said, Thargoids is what we're talking about.
Oh right, yes, yeah, the little ship launched Thargons.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Tharglets that lived inside the tortoises from the Dark Wheel?
I do, yes, because in the book they actually talk about the fact that Tharglets are bought and sold to be trained up as shock troopers. But we now know that the Dark Wheel is entirely non-canon, so unfortunately we can assume that that's been thrown out with the rest of that.
Yeah.
Although I have to admit, I understand entirely why Frontier have decided to do that. It gives them a lot more. The ending of the third Elite game kind of closed off everything to do with the Thargoids.
Yeah.
Changing or one of the endings, the non-working ending, the ending that no one ever got to play through because it didn't work, was the ending that they've actually chosen, where everything got made worse and the Thargoids really, really, really hate us. Which is why, again, anyone who believes that peace is coming with the Thargoids is unfortunately incorrect.
Yeah. This is something that we've talked about internally quite a lot, because obviously quite a few people would like to give peace a chance, and then there is a growing cacophony of voices arguing that that's not even going to be an option.
No, I firmly believe it won't be. It's the fact of the matter is the whole of the history between the Thargoids and the humans has been leading to the next moment. We attempted genocide on them. And we're also, from what we know of their history, the first species that's ever fought back successfully.
Yeah. Are the Thargoids the reason that there are no other that we haven't had contact with any other sentient races, do you think?
This is my theory. My theory is that are you aware of the Fermi paradox?
It's linked to the Drake equation, isn't it?
Yes.
I am aware of it.
The Drake equation states that there should be life everywhere.
There should be about 25 other civilizations out there. Yeah, and we should know about some of them at least.
And we don't. And the Fermi paradox is, well, if life is so prevalent, where the hell is it? So yeah, in chat we've got Crazy, Deertrick, and the Thargoid. Deertrick and Crazy are both mods on my channel. They're good people.
Lucky to have them around. Cool. All right. Well, let's. We might as well get back to chat then. So you
we were sort of saying about the Thargoids and the invasion, and yeah, I properly do believe that the CCN is literally the future of not only the player base but of this game.
Because you think that Season 3 will open with the bubble being under existential threat?
By 3.1, I assume we will have the bubble taken away from us in its entirety.
So presumably Season 3 will be some kind of battle to take it back? Or that'll be a sort of longer term
I think
story
that's
trajectory?
A bit longer term, yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to be honest, I think... I personally, and this is, don't get me wrong, this is all personal belief. This isn't anything to do with what I know from Frontier or anything like that. They're very careful not to share story with me, to be perfectly honest, because they know what I'm like. So yeah, if the Thargoids arrive, I do know that they're going to be something that we are going to struggle to fight. And I really do think it's going to be a case of they're going to throw so much at us that no matter how much we try to fight and how much we win, those victories are going to be in isolation against a much bigger backdrop of losses. And it will end up being that we might, as a player base, be able to hold them off of a few systems. But that's all I think we'd ever be able to manage.
The bubble is significantly better defended than Colonia, though.
Yeah, but the Thargoids don't know about Colonia.
Aha. See, I thought that the establishment of a second civilization would be the trigger point to make humanity high profile enough to warrant their attention. No,
we made ourselves high profile enough when we wiped out their scout fleet and tried to commit genocide on them.
Ah, right. has a habit of raising a flag, doesn't it?
This isn't Civilization 6. This isn't a case of you've settled near my borders.
Yeah. No, this is and also from everything I think, you're in the other direction to where they are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be great if story-wise Colonia becomes more important, and that might be why it's receiving a bit more focus from the devs in terms of development mechanics and that kind of thing.
Interesting, that isn't it?
Graham, what do you think about the other locked zones in the galaxy?
Well, I'm pretty certain there's a mirror of the bubble. One of the locked zones is a mirror of the bubble that they use for bug testing and internal development and all of that sort of thing.
Really? Gosh,
I'm pretty certain so. Yeah. It's something we've discussed a lot amongst ourselves, and it would make sense.
They wouldn't use a different game server for that. They wouldn't, like a different.
No, we really do think that they keep something like that just locked away and hidden away. We're not certain, but it's something that we... Oh, wow.
Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
What's oh wow?
Just something someone's just messaged me about. Not something. Sorry, I didn't mean to react. Not something I can talk about, I'm afraid. That's.
I might have to kill you.
No worries.
I do apologise.
Draxler then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll feel free to speculate wildly about what your unseen message might be.
And as for Raxler, I found that a long time ago.
Oh yeah, we know about your. We'll get onto that in a bit.
Yeah.
But first of all, just for the benefit of any CCNers who aren't familiar with you, so could you just give us a bit of a sort of lowdown of how long you've been playing Elite and what got you into streaming for the community and that sort of thing.
So I started playing Elite on May the 22nd last year. I know that because I got it for my birthday.
What made you? Because it's the only game you stream, isn't it?
Now it is, yes, pretty much. Civilization is the only other thing that you'll see regularly on my channel.
Okay.
Basically, I started playing Elite shortly after I started streaming, and when I started, it all ties in with the fact that when I started streaming, I was really, really bad at watching chat.
Watching chat?
Yeah, as in keeping my eye on people talking to me.
Oh, I am as well. Yeah, awful at that.
And we slowly built up a group of about sort of 5 or 6 of us. And several of them were other streamers.
Yeah.
And basically, we all just started hanging around. We were messing around and not doing anything serious. And then one night, we started joking that it would be hilarious if we started a player group. And somebody, it was Pyre, one of our leaders, Pyre, went, "Oh, I can build us a website." And the next morning, we had a website. A month later, we had 100 members.
Bloody hell!
We're now in the sort of 1,000. It's insane.
This could be our joint 1,000-member celebration then.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
We welcomed our 1,000th to the network about a week ago, I think.
Yeah, and to be honest, yeah, I can relate to what you guys are doing. I know how much it feels like the ground is just shifting under you when you're doing something like this, and it grows at the speed that you guys have grown at.
Yeah, it's 6 weeks. It's been just over 6 weeks since we launched.
Yeah.
So pretty fast, I think.
It's difficult to keep track of, isn't it?
Yeah. Luckily there's the number of brilliant people is really humbling in a way. There's so many fantastic people who work really hard and make personal sacrifices to keep the wheels on the wagon and make everything go.
Yes.
Which is I'm consistently grateful for and is fantastic to be part of. But presumably you guys are. I mean, if you've got 1,000 members, the TIIQ must be a bit of a powerhouse by now.
We have our strengths. We have our weaknesses, but we have our strengths. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, the big thing that's happened recently is that we've left the Empire.
I was about to ask you about this. Oh, before we get onto that, I did want to know, why did you and your other founding members choose to be Imperial? What prompted that? And were you Imperial before that?
Yes, that's the thing. I'm Imperial from previous games, and my character, rather than myself. My character is an incredibly traditional Imperial.
Okay.
And that's why we founded the Inquisition sort of on the basis that we did. We all agreed that from story perspective, we found that the most interesting.
Yeah.
And now, basically what ended up happening is that we discovered that You may remember we were put into the war in the Pleiades.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we lost that war really badly. And the reason we lost that war was because the other Imperial player groups sided with the Federation.
I had heard rumours that had happened. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot more than rumours. And that obviously shocked us a little bit. We had a little think about it. And to be honest, ever since Orisa Lavigny-Duval ascended the throne, there's been a lot of issues between us and the Empire.
Do you mean in a direction of story capacity or a other player groups capacity?
Mostly in the direction of story. Even with this, that where the other groups attacked us, the whole reasoning for it was that we are so traditional that they view us as holding the Empire back. And I have to be honest, I love that. I think that's wonderful. I think it's a wonderful way of looking at the game and a way of doing the story and everything. And it was great that we kind of wrote our. I mean, there's a line in our constitution that we follow the throne, not the person who sits on it.
Yep.
And that's kind of something that we preempted this. We always knew it was something that might happen.
Yeah.
We actually thought it was going to be Aisling.
You thought it was going to be? Oh, right, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we thought Aisling was going to be a huge problem, and that was going to be what pushed us away from the Empire in the end. But it turned out to actually be Orisa.
What is it about the modernization of the Empire that, what particular facets of that do TIIQ object to?
Pretty much all of it. The treatment of Imperial slaves, the fact that people like Torval and Patrius, even though I am a Patrius supporter, the fact that he has the level of control in the Empire that he does shows quite how weak the Empire has become. The levels of corruption, the level of corporate control, the lack of honor, and most importantly of everything, the fact that we have severed the line of the royal family, and that there is not Duval sitting on the throne.
Yeah.
And okay, cool.
Please.
So, do you feel that there's? I mean, I feel like there was a lot of story written in terms of interpersonal relations in the Empire in the in sort of late 3301, or sort of middle and late 3301, that feels like it's been shelved, but could be really interesting to rehash. So I mean, sort of, the emperor's line and the dynasties and that sort of thing,
Yes.
which sort of feels like it's just been kind of put on the shelf slightly.
Well, I agree, and what we're attempting to do, I won't lie, is far bigger than anything we've ever tried to do before. I have to be very careful with what I say about this because we're in talks with Frontier about it, and we're trying to work out what we're allowed to do.
Yeah.
But we have created a larger group than ourselves called the Sovereignty. And the Sovereignty is the Empire over, like started over.
Yeah. And am I right in thinking that the Sovereignty will be in Colonia?
That's our aim, yes.
Exclusively in Colonia, or?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
We
Brilliant.
have no interest. The oldest tradition in the Empire, the one that predates every other tradition, is that
It's sacking it all off and starting again.
Yeah. When something's so broken that you can't fix it, you walk away as far as you can go, and you start over.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing.
Exciting. That's brilliant. And do you? I mean, presumably there's a large element of this which is sort of getting to dev support and that sort of thing.
Yes.
But have you moved pilots to Colonia already?
We always have people out at Colonia. The Inquisition has maintained a presence out in Colonia since Jaques first arrived.
Yeah. Okay. And presumably that'll just edge up and up as the sovereignty project kicks off.
Yes. We will always we'll always be rotating people, giving people opportunity to spend time in the bubble, as long as the bubble is accessible.
Yeah.
Although I expect it to be taken from us, we are carrying on as if it wouldn't. Because our faction's now in Tom Parks. How many systems are we in now? I think it's 7, 9, something like that.
Yeah.
And I asked Tom because he's the guy that runs all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He's our BGS expert. But yeah, one thing that we sort of do want to make clear is that the sovereignty isn't going to be coming out to Colonia to cause problems.
No, I don't think we certainly didn't anticipate that. We can't wait to see you guys out here. It'd be great.
Yeah. To be blunt, we're not interested in conquering. There's enough space out there for everyone. We just want to get away from the bigger picture, I guess, is the right way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Even though I then fully expect the bigger picture to follow us.
Yeah. Well, we've had some quite a few people speculating about that sort of thing. We've had some sort of Thargoid preemptive combat training and that sort of thing going on in the militia, which has been quite fun.
I don't think you'll have to worry about the Thargoids arriving. I think what you need to be preparing for is an incredible influx of people.
Yeah, well, that too. I think. I think it's probably about to happen.
Yes.
I think that was the main point of our militia, was so that we had a force for peacekeeping purposes when said a large amount of people arrived, because with large groups of people, there's always griefers and things like that.
Well, this is a wonderful part of Elite. It's, something that I will always scream and shout about is that one of the greatest things about Elite is that you choose how you play it. And you want to play PvE, play PvE.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Jesus, you want to play on your own? Go ahead, play in solo. That's not a problem. And part of it is that open has no rules.
Yeah.
You can do as you choose. There are consequences. Those consequences, in my opinion, aren't anywhere near enough.
Yeah.
But there are consequences for your actions, but that's it.
The consequences need, on a personal level, not speaking for anybody or anything, I think the consequences need to be significantly beefed up.
Personally, the way I would do it would be twice the rebuy of the ship that you've just killed as a bounty.
Well, rather than your own rebuy?
No, twice the rebuy of the ship you murdered.
That
makes you one hell of a target. You start killing trader condas. You kill 4 or 5 trader condas. Suddenly you've got a bounty on you worth 30 million credits.
True, I suppose so. Yeah, and it would be directly proportional with how much you've just ruined somebody's day.
Yes, and the other thing that I would do is I would make it so that people can, if you're doing that sort of thing, you get marked.
Yeah, no, I think that would be brilliant. I think it'd be really good, as well as a really as well as a significant NPC police response. Some kind of Pilots Federation tagging system would be great as well.
Well, yeah, imagine if when you went onto the galaxy map in open, certain systems had a skull and crossbones in it because there was a target with a huge bounty there.
Yeah,
if your combat rank was high enough, you got sent a message saying, "Okay, we've got serious bounty here. This is not messing around."
Oh, it'd be so good. It'd be so good if once you got to dangerous, you suddenly started getting those.
Yeah.
Just like in the
it gives another reason to play an open as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Also, it should really span over multiple systems. Like when it happens in Empire space, you should be wanted in every Empire system.
Absolutely. If you commit a crime in an Imperial system, you should be wanted Empire wide.
But I think that the real beauty of this plan is that the Pilots Federation doesn't have boundaries like the superpowers and the powers do, and we already have in the Pilots Federation and the ranking system, the infrastructure for a galaxy-wide player tagging system that would be easily explicable by law. So, so you could easily have it so that if your crimes are heinous enough, you're tagged on the Pilots Federation database, and also conversely, if your combat rank is high enough, you have access to claiming those tags. It would actually add a new incentive to rank up your combat rank as well, which would be cool.
I just want to chuck 2 cents in, sorry. I'm going to butt in because people always...
Go.
You guys are so good at talking and just constantly talking, it's great. No, 2 things. 3 actually. I fully agree with your idea of the double rebuy. That would fantastically put a big skull and crossbones on someone's head. I don't do a lot of PvP, but boy does that make me wanna... that's some wicked incentive.
Makes you want to get good.
Makes you want to get good, you know. There's also the little chaotic evil part of me that's just going, how far can I go? Like, part of me wants to go, hey, there's a couple of T9s out there that don't have ship-launched fighters. That's a ducka.
Well, no, but isn't that wonderful that it then encourages that as well?
Yeah.
Because, and seriously, one of my biggest complaints about Elite Dangerous is the anti-PvP sort of groundswell of opinion.
Just player stuff in general.
Yeah. Like I'm sorry, and it's like traders who are flying around and they're flying in open in a trade ship with no shields to a community goal, and then they complain they get killed.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a serial white flagger, and I feel quite strongly that if you get a kick out of, for example, somebody flying out to Jaques and hanging around outside the letterbox and deliberately blowing up explorers, I kind of feel like, you know, a lot of people have jobs and a lot of people have families, and they can only put a few hours a week into a game. Yeah. And I think it's morally reprehensible to waste what could be a month of someone's cumulative recreation time by blowing them up just outside of... I just think if you're the kind of person that enjoys that, there's something a bit wrong with you. So I think I'm probably... I think that there's also a really significant distinction to be made between PvP and griefing, because they're not the same and they're often used interchangeably.
Yeah.
If it's a one-off, I don't mind any attack. And that includes, I mean, Jesus, if I play an open, I expect to get stream sniped.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it happens. It's part of play. Like literally in our law, if you're streaming in open, then you are broadcasting propaganda via Galnet, and part of that broadcast is your position.
Yeah.
If you don't expect people to come for you. Now, where I have a problem is where the same person is targeted over and over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or with things like the letterbox stuff, the ramming people inside stations, that sort of thing. No, don't like it. But I do also understand that a lot of it is trying to make a point.
What kind of point are they trying to make?
The systems are broken. They shouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah. It's a funny way of making the point. But
look at Operation Spicy Boys. That was a complete success. Frontier are now completely changing the heat meta because a group of people went around in stupid little ships, murdering ships they had no right to kill.
Yeah.
Just because they had heat weaponry.
Yeah.
If you make enough noise, Frontier will listen, and that's part of what it was.
Tell you what, nothing gets people's attention like a PvP argument on the forum.
And it's sad because, like, the one thing that I think is wrong about this game is that if I developed it, I would have 2 main versions of open. I would have open PvP and I would have open PvE. That would be one of the first changes I would make to Elite. And have a PvE server. Have a full-on, you simply cannot attack another human server.
Yeah.
One very quick question that I think it does affect Colonia is that it's DJ. You said that you support traditional imperial values. Can you remind me what these values are with regards to slave trading?
Well, yeah, it's very, very, very simple. Imperial slavery is okay because imperial slavery is part of imperial culture. It is a different economic system where if you get into debt, there is a way out. It's not the same as normal slavery. Now, normal slavery is utterly reprehensible. There's no way out. There's no future. Yeah. With imperial slavery, as it should be, and you have to understand that part of our massive problems with the empire as things stand is that imperial slaves are not treated as they should be. Imperial slaves should be treated with honor. A great example is if you have an imperial slave who has a child, that child should be raised as a member of your family. Not as any different. If imperial slavery is done correctly, then yes, we're all for it. When imperial slavery is, as it so often is at the moment in the empire, completely abused, then no. And it, literally, it's one of the reasons we're leaving the empire is the abuse that's gone on. The abuse of imperial slaves is disgusting and reprehensible, and yeah, we don't really want much to do with it. Now, as for the way that we're going to play it with Colonia and the sovereignty and everything like that, we're actually asking for a mechanic to be instituted where imperial slaves essentially will be we will be willing to import imperial and normal slaves to Colonia on the proviso that when they arrive, they are converted to colonists. Now, those colonists will have a contract where they are literally assigned to a planet. They are told to live there. That's where they live. They're not allowed to leave. But beyond that, there will be no controls placed over them. We're not going to hold them to anything else. And that's our plan for the foreseeable future. Once our population numbers, this would be generations down the line, realistically. Once our population numbers are up enough and we have the sort of population base where imperial slavery would actually be something that would work again, yes, we would want to reintroduce it to our society. It is part of the very makeup of that society.
It would be an interesting follow-on to, sorry to just jump in. It'd be an interesting mechanic to implement, because we've actually, as part of the role play foundation for the colony, we huge numbers of slaves were transported as part of the jaunt to Jaques and symbolically freed as colonists. So it would tie in to that quite nicely.
Now, as I say, it wouldn't be full freeing because the whole thing about them being you live here now is essentially how it goes. That would be important to us, but we have no interest in it, certainly in proper slavery.
Okay, cool. So what's the timeline for you guys for the sovereignty being present in Colonia? Presumably the first thing would be a CG to build an outpost.
Yes, that will be the first thing that we want to do. To be honest with you, this all literally comes down to what Frontier are willing to let us do.
Yeah.
There really is so much that we're sort of still waiting on, and we just have to wait for Frontier to get back to us and let us know what they're okay with.
Yeah.
If we can move any further forward with it at the moment.
Yeah, I understand that. So I mean, if there is community goals and all that sort of thing, if as part of the CCN wider family, would be really happy to help out with anything that you guys would need. Although it sounds like you'd be very self-sufficient.
Oh no, we'll never turn help away. Never, ever. We're not stupid.
Cool. Okay, good. Well, it's now what is it now? It's now 6 o'clock game time, give or take 2 minutes. So and I'm told that Cohen's said that they are ready to go, and all the markers are set and the races are ready to go. So, Truthsayer, are you gonna stick around and listen to the race, or what? Yeah.
I will probably lurk. Yeah. I'll go and sit I'll go and sit and chat and lurk.
But no, on another note, I haven't said so properly yet, but we really, really appreciate you coming tonight. It's
dude, I will do anything to support the CCN. I've loved being involved from the very get-go. It's great fun.
Oh, cool.
It really is.
That's nice to hear.
Well, it's like what we do in a lot of ways. It's about creating community and about creating content and story.
Precisely, absolutely. That's completely what it's about.
And yeah, I mean, one of the moments that I'll never forget in Elite was when I was on one of Frontier's streams, and they asked why the Inquisition had chosen to support Galcop. And my answer was just so very, very short and sweet, and it was lore. They're creating new story. We're story nerds. What do you think we're gonna do?
We hope you enjoyed this interview with our lovely guest DJTruthsayer. If you might be interested in any more information about DJTruthsayer, the Colonia Citizens Network, or the Running Man Grand Prix, please follow the links in the description. Thanks for listening, and see you guys next time.